How's everybody doing? Everybody having a good time?
Yeah.
Reasonably drunk? So yes, as Raul said, I'm from India. Everywhere I go, people expect me to speak with an Indian accent. So I don't want to disappoint you tonight. We'll get started with a little Indian accent. I'm sure you've heard this voice before. Hello. Thank you for calling Yahoo IT support. Yes, I am pleased to help you. My name is Brad Pitt. I see you have a problem with your computer. Very simple to solve. All you have to do is unplug the computer and then say Yahoo! There are 3 words that Indians love to use. Basically, totally, and confused. Except that they don't say confused, they say confused. And you can tell when you ask them, for example, if you ask an Indian for directions, you say, well, how do you get to Flappers? You might get an answer something like this. So basically, what you're going to do, you're going to go down the street, you're going to make a left turn. And so you're going to make a left turn, and then, well, I'm not totally sure, but basically you're going to make a left turn, and then, well, we're not totally 100% correct, but then, well, I think I'm totally confused. Anybody have an Indian doctor? Nobody has an Indian doctor? Oh, come on. You have an Indian doctor. Indian doctors are my favorite. I love Indian doctors. You go to your Indian doctor, you say, so what's my problem? And he says, well, basically, we have done the tests. We have done the tests, and we're not totally sure, but we basically think that the problem is with your heart, but then we're not totally sure, but we're basically going to have to do some more tests, but then again, I think I'm totally confused.
Did you just give me directions?
Exactly. I love my Indian people. We Indians, I never realized how good it was to be an Indian. I was in Las Vegas last weekend, and I was wandering around down there by the pool, and I saw white people trying to get a tan. Oh, you poor people. You guys work really hard just to look like this. And all I do is get up in the morning and... I feel so sorry for you. I was with a very beautiful lady, and she's sitting out there for 3 hours trying to get herself to look like this. And we just wake up in the morning and we're tanned. And white people, oh my God, you guys do a lot of work to do all this. But I have to admit, I was working on my tan too, because I also have a few of those spots. I'm working on this piece right here. It's a little uneven, but you see, I gotta get back. It takes a little work. So anyway, I have an interesting background actually. I was actually born in the country of Nigeria, which under federal law makes me an African American. So ladies and gentlemen, I am a black guy. That's a black guy for the white guy here. Better known as a bro. I see we're running a little short on the African American race out there. So if you'll bear with me, I wanted to say to all my African American brothers out there, I totally feel your pain. I tried being a black guy, I tried applying for a job as a black guy. It's not good to try to apply for a job as a black guy. Not good to be a black guy when you're looking for a job. So this makes me ethnically Indian, legally a black guy, and I sound like a white guy. So I tried to apply for this job, right? I applied for a job as a pizza delivery guy. Was interviewed by a lady from New Jersey, Miss Edith Epstein. She looked at me when I walked in the door and she said, "Oh my God, you're not a black guy. Oh, you're Indian. Oh my God, that's wonderful, you're Indian. I have a friend of mine who's also Apache. What are you?" Then I applied for a job as a black guy for a professional position. And I was interviewed by the head of the Affirmative Action Committee, Miss Yolanda Washington, who looked at my resume and looked at me and said, "Education, mm-hmm. Experience, mm-hmm. Race, mm-mm." That was the end of my black man application process. So, everybody having a good time? Everybody enjoying their liquor? It's important to drink a lot of liquor because that makes me funnier and the show goes faster. Don't forget that. Absolutely. All right, so how many people are married? Oh, you poor bastards. My accountant gave me some interesting advice. He said that I could write off the expenses of my divorce by claiming my ex-wife as a natural disaster. So I tried it. And when I filled out the deduction, I claimed her as an earthquake, a hurricane, and a tornado. And when I was audited, the auditor said, "Well, you can't claim 3 natural disasters." I said, "You didn't know her." Only a woman can spin you around, make you wet, and leave you homeless all in one shot. I see I touched a nerve. More relationship jokes in a bit. We don't want to upset the women too fast. We do that slowly. You can tell a lot about a person by the way they laugh. I've been studying this for a long time. Well, for example, there is the wicked laugh. Then there is the fake laugh. This is very commonly used by vice presidents and upper management. There's the old man's laugh. There is the really old man's laugh. You ever been out on a date, ladies, and then all of a sudden you realize that your date is not the brightest guy around? You can tell by their laugh. There is the dumb guy laugh. You're out on a date and then all of a sudden you hear this. Ooh, you're pretty. There's the creepy guy laugh. You're out with a guy and all of a sudden you hear this. Creepy guy laugh. And then of course the romantic laugh. This is the laugh that you get when you're dating her and you know she's in love with you. Oh, you're so handsome. Oh, you're so intelligent. Oh, you're so funny. And then you fall in love and you get married. And you get married and her laugh changes. The married woman laugh. Married for 5 years. And of course you stay married, and now you're married for 10 years. You have 3 kids. The married woman laugh after 10 years with 3 kids.
Been there.
Thank you for the sound effects. Very kind of you. I think I can handle this, but thank you very much. Now, see, I believe that we need a little honesty in our relationships. I don't think we have enough honesty. People are always lying to each other. So when I met my last girlfriend, she told me, she said, I want an honest man. I want an honest man. Will you be honest? I said, I'm going to be honest. So one day we go out and we're shopping for a dress for her. I'm sure you guys have all been through this. She puts on the dress, and she stands there and she says, does this make me look fat? Be honest. And I looked at her and I said, no. You were fat before you put that on. The last thing I remember was a chair flying into my head. And then we were out having dinner. And a very beautiful lady just walked right by me. And I looked at her, because I am a man. And she said, you like her, don't you? And I said, well, just her legs. The last thing I remember was a purse being thrown at me. It's good to lie a little. You gotta lie a little bit. But one thing that I do say is we definitely do not have an honest set of marriage vows. We need to have an honest set of marriage vows. So I wrote you some. Here's what an honest set of marriage vows should really be like. Dearly beloved. Oh, we're good. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to join this lovely lady with this schmuck, idiot, who has agreed to commit himself to a lifetime of servitude and slavery in the promise of matrimony. For the bride, do you take this unemployed schmuck to be your slave? Not until death do you part, until you get sick of his ass. Do you promise to control him and spend his money the way you see that it should be spent? Do you take his mother to become your mother? Oh, and by the way, she's a bitch. Oh. I see I touched another nerve. Do you promise to have him honor and obey you until you get sick of his ass? And now for the groom. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court with her mother as the judge and her girlfriends on the jury. You have no right to an attorney because you are an idiot and a schmuck. From this day forward, you will never have sex again. I see you touched another nerve. I hope you're enjoying this show. Oh, you came to the right performance. I do marriage counseling on the side. Okay, where was I? Yes, and so now I pronounce you queen and slave. All right, so everybody have a job? No? Oh, come on, some of you have to have a job. How did you get in here? It's okay, you can clap. I'm not going to pick on you. Does anybody have a job? Oh, that's good. Well, you know, in this economy, how do you know if your boss likes you? I mean, it's very important, especially in this economy. You got to pay very close attention to the way he looks at your work. So, for example, if your boss likes your work, and he's reviewing it, it might sound something like this. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Oh. Mm-hmm. 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 That's a happy boss. If he's a little confused, it might sound something like this. If he's a vice president or a manager, it might sound something like this. And I will leave you with one happy story. The story of a young man who met a very beautiful lady. And he fell in love with her. And he loved her very much. And he wanted to marry her. And one day, he built up the nerve and he proposed to her. And he said, "Will you marry me?" And she said no. And then he lived happily ever after. Thank you very much.